So getting started today with YouTube Analytics app. This is going to track my YouTube subscribers, views, things like that. So I'll be able to see it on a daily level, weekly, track the trends, things like that. I did make a previous video in the past that was sort of a similar idea that was using N8N and Airtable. But since then, AI has progressed really well now. So I basically just use that for any sort of apps that I want to build and sort of automations that I want to make as well. You'll notice with a lot of YouTubers nowadays, the ones that were sort of really focused around N8N, they've also switched to just using AI just because it has become a lot more powerful and a lot more reliable. Airtable and N8N are great tools. You can definitely use them, and perhaps there's some benefits, but with AI now, being able to create the automations, being able to create apps, I can do it quite quickly. Usually on a first prompt, I don't need to do too much back and forth. And the way I do that is making sure that we sort of draft the idea that we want to make and make sure that it's really detailed. I don't actually create the document myself. I have AI create the document, but then guiding it on the specifics of the app that I want to make. So I've got a skill that I use. If you don't know about skills, you can just look it up. But basically, it's like an instruction manual for the AI to follow. And you can create one for whatever you want. But this one specifically sort of gets the project requirements that we need, and then it gets sort of clarity on what we're actually looking to make. It asks specific questions in rounds to get a really clear picture on what we are actually looking to create. From there, we then build the app. This is how I'm able to one-shot the apps that I'm looking to create. Obviously, they're not full-fledged SaaS products, but it's apps that you may need to use for work or for your business, dashboards, things like that. AI is going to be able to create that with no problem. As long as we do give it that great context, something to follow specifically, it's really surprising the results we can get sometimes. So I'm going to draft the idea, then build the app, and then from there I'll host it on Cloudflare Workers for free. Also has authentication built in. The reason for this, then we'll be able to access it from our phone and things like that. But that's hosted for free. It's not a sponsored video or anything like that. I just really like Cloudflare Workers on the free plan. So I'm just going to get started by typing /PRD. That's going to bring up the skill that I've created. You can find that in the link in the description below if you want to download that for free. But basically it's going to create us the project requirements document for what we're looking to create. So I'm just going to give a brief description on the app that I'm looking to make. You can be as detailed as you want, but it's going to sort of ask us rounds of questions afterwards anyway to get clarity on what we're actually looking to make. But yeah, get a good understanding of the app we're looking to make. So I'm just going to get started. I'd like to create a YouTube analytics platform. This should track my YouTube subscribers, views, and the growth rate of each. So I'd like to see bar charts and graphs, a line graph to be able to see the actual growth. I should be able to set a goal of how many subscribers I would like to achieve, starting off with 1,000, but that should be able to be edited as well to 10,000, for example. And then that should be a progress bar to show how much I'm getting close to the goal. This should be compatible with Cloudflare Workers, so I believe they have database requirements and potentially SQLite, and that's it. So I'm just going to hit enter, and then it should have a think, and then it will ask us the first round of questions. So this is from the skill here. It's got sort of a clarity score, and from there, as we go on, as we sort of get an understanding of, or as the AI rather gets an understanding of what we're looking to actually make, it will then fill up over time. So we'll just answer the questions, pretty simple. It's got question 1, so then we can just type the answers for 1A, 2B, things like that. So I'm just going to have a quick read and answer those ones. Okay, so first round of questions done. Just submit my answers, have a think and get back to us. Okay, so now it's gone from 38 to 62. So I'll ask another round of questions, then this might be the last round. So the score's now gone from 62 to 88. This should be the last one. Okay, so now it will create the document. Perfect, so now it's actually created that document for us. If we would like to take a look, we can just click on there. I'm not going to read through it, but basically this is the document here. So it's got the idea of the problem, the goal that we want to make, what we don't want to include, a bit of background context, so the sort of YouTube data API, so I'm showing the data source that we want, and we want it compatible with Cloudflare workers, and just a few other things here. And it's quite detailed, as you can see, so it keeps going on and on, sort of even laid out what the API should look like, but it's basically done all the technical know-how that we need for the app. So I'll just close that. I'll start a new session. The reason I'm starting a new session is because it's got all this context here. If we then create the app from there, it's using up a lot more tokens than we need to. So I'll just start a new one, and then I'll just reference the document. So now it's just going to read through that requirement document, and then it'll create the app for us. I'll just let that run, and you'll notice that there won't need to be any back and forth with this. It should create it in one go, and we'll be able to have a look at it once it's been created. So it might take a couple minutes. So that took about 3 minutes to create, but then it's given us sort of understanding of a bit of its thinking and what it's actually created. It's given us some next steps here, but for especially people that aren't quite technical, I like to just ask for a HTML document to be made, so it's clear on the step-by-step things that I need to do to get the app up and running. So I'm just going to ask for that. Can you create a HTML document with the list of to-dos we need for the app to be up and running, including the YouTube API setup and anything to do with Cloudflare workers? And there should be a to-do list that I can just tick off as I go. So it's gone ahead and created us the document for us to follow. So it's got all the steps here that I'm going to go through, and I'll come back at the end once those are completed. It's even got it how to deploy it to Cloudflare as well, but we'll leave that one to the next video. So I'm going to get this all up and running so that we can actually see the finished product. So now I've completed all that was in the to-do list, and the final 2 steps are to start the database locally and to open the front end as well. So I'm just going to run those 2. Perfect, so now I'll just click on that and it'll open up our YouTube Analytics. So pretty simple stuff here. This won't work for now just because it's got 1 day of data, but as the data comes in, the graph will grow, but it's got our totals here for the account. So I've currently got 4 videos, 622 views and 16 subscribers. If you want to add a subscriber to that, feel free to do so. But yeah, that's how I create apps that I can use. I'll be using this to track the growth on YouTube. But yeah, if you did like the video, feel free to subscribe and give this video a like. As I mentioned, the skill will be in the first link in the description if you'd like to download that. Thanks.